measuring their success not by riches, but by the joy that comes from using one's gifts in serving others. As they plan for their futures, may they be seekers of justice and work in praise for the glory of God and the building of his kingdom. St. Marcelin and St. Gregory, Mary, our good mother, and let us always remember, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, Holy Spirit.
The purpose of our assembly today is to celebrate, as a community, the efforts of our Higher School Certificate 2019 high performers. However, before we launch into the awards today, we would like to introduce our special guest, Dr. Frank Molloy. Dr. Molloy is the National Director for Marist Schools Australia, with responsibilities associated with a network of 55 schools. He is a leader in Catholic education, serving as principal in 5 secondary schools and as Director of Schools in the inner western region of the Sydney Archdiocese before joining Marist Schools Australia. Internationally, in Marist education, Dr. Molloy has worked with principals from over 25 countries throughout Africa on models and processes for school improvement. In our Marist Australia network of schools, he has worked extensively on school improvement and leadership. It gives me great pleasure today to welcome Dr. Frank Molloy to the podium. Please welcome Dr. Molloy.
Well, good morning, Mr. McMaster, Mr. Brooks, brothers, staff, parents, and most importantly, students. It's a great privilege for me to be here today to join in recognising the High Achievers for 2019 from St Gregory's. And each of those boys will be well recognised today, and deservedly so. But what I want everyone who's gathered here, each of the students who is still to do their high school certificate, is to consider the example that the high achievers are presenting to all of us. And that example is not an example of great genius, because whilst we have a very talented group of young men here before us today, I think I could safely say that maybe one or two would share the brilliance of an Einstein. But every single one of them has demonstrated a very important quality. A very important quality for anyone who undertakes academic study. And that's the quality of perseverance. That word perseverance is so important for us on our learning journey. And it becomes particularly important when we don't quite meet the lofty goals we may have set ourselves. No doubt in these coming days, as you become familiar with your teachers for 2020, there will be goals set. There will be targets established. There will be aspirations and hopes that you will have firmly in your mind, if not recorded somewhere. Part of our human condition is that we often fall short. But the key to a great student is to not stop trying, to continue to persevere, even when it doesn't quite work out as you'd hoped. Keep trying, keep persevering. And as a Catholic school and as a Marist school, we are incredibly blessed because we share something that gives us enormous strength in that regard, and that is our faith in God. And when we ask God for help to persevere, we know through our own lives and our faith journey that we're asking for the Holy Spirit to join us, to be with us, to work through us. And one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit that you'd all remember from your own confirmation is fortitude, courage. And that courage relates very closely to perseverance, having the courage to stick at it, to keep trying. So as we see the young men being presented to us this morning, I think what we are going to see most emphatically are the embodiment and the example of tremendous perseverance throughout their school lives, and particularly during their high school certificate year. So I once again say how grateful I am to be here, and thank you, Mr. McMaster, for the invitation, and I look forward to acclaiming and recognising these wonderful young men this morning with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Malloy. To announce the students and their excellent achievements, I invite the Year 12 Coordinator for 2019, Mr. Pat Newell, to come forward. To present awards today, our College Principal, Mr. McMaster, will be accompanied by Dr. Malloy.
Dr. Malloy, Mr. McMaster, teachers, parents, students, and the HSC students of 2019, it gives me great pleasure to announce the HSC High Achieving Awards. Before I do, just like to take a moment to acknowledge how proud and honoured I was to be the year coordinator of this group. These boys here today, or these gentlemen here today, are representative of a small group, quite a large group actually, who did an amazing job with the HSC, and they are representative of that. It's no coincidence that I wrote 3 words down that were the epitome of the approach that these boys had. The first of those being perseverance, the second balance, and the third of those was dedication. I would suggest to any of the Year 11 or Year 12 boys here today, the current students, that these are your HSC experts, your current experts. If you want to know how to get some advice or how to go about doing your HSC to the best of your capacity, contact these young men here. They did an amazing job and I congratulate them for that. We start with the Distinguished Achievers. The Distinguished Achievers Awards. To be awarded a Band 6, a student needs to gain a HSC mark of 90 out of 100 or more for a 2-unit course, or 45 out of 50 or more for a 1-unit course. In 2019, 27 students at St Gregory's achieved a total of 46 Band 6 results. I'll announce these boys and their achievements. Please hold your applause until the end. In his absence, Jacob Agu for Music 1. Jai Bell, PDHPE. Samuel Gould, Music 1. In his absence, Paul Grove, Mathematics Standard 2. Also in his absence, Lachlan Kennedy for Mathematics. Daniel Court, Industrial Technology, Timber. Christian Malone, Music 1. Jared McKell Dorset for PDHPE. Samuel Morris for Ancient History. Samuel has also been awarded a Westpac Young Technologists Scholarship. Angus Rochester, English Advanced. Cody Sainsbury for Legal Studies. Michael Sergi for Music 1. In his absence, Joshua Strigas for Modern History. Also in his absence, Joshua Vaughan for Mathematics Standard 2. As well, Jack Williams is unavailable today for Mathematics Standard 2. Ryan Woods, Mathematics Extension 1. Hayden Wolfe, Legal Studies. Hayden has been awarded a University of Wollongong Ramsay Scholarship. Dominic Zapier, Music 1. Benjamin Cariotti, Legal Studies and Primary Industries. Alex Frey, Mathematics and Mathematics Extension 1. In his absence, Harry Lane for Agriculture and Primary Industries. We would also like to take this opportunity to recognise Harry for being placed in the top 10 students in last year's graduation presentations. Matthew Mitchell, Ancient History and Legal Studies. Jared Zapier, Agriculture and Construction. Nicholas Alcorn, Agriculture, Industrial Technology and Mathematics Standard 2. William Limbry, Ancient History, English Extension 1, Legal Studies, Mathematics Standard. That is it, sorry. Alessandro Coman, Chemistry, English Advanced, Mathematics Extension 1, Mathematics Extension 2 and Studies of Religion 1. And Marcus Bombardieri, English Advanced, English Extension 1, Legal Studies, Mathematics, Modern History and Studies of Religion 2. Would you please join with me in congratulating our distinguished achievers. The next set of awards are the Special Achievement Awards. There were several boys this year who were identified for special achievements in practical and performance subjects. The INTEC 2019 is an exhibition of outstanding major projects developed by HSC Industrial Technology students. Students pre-nominated for this exhibition were Nicholas Alcorn, Thomas Drew, Daniel Court, in his absence Harry Lane, and also Oliver McDonald. Oliver is not present today either. The HSC Shape Display is an annual exhibition of a selection of exemplary major projects developed by HSC Design and Technology, Industrial Technology and Textiles and Design students. This year, the following students were pre-selected for this award were Jack Burns, and again, I don't think he's here, but Jay Kirk, we'd like to acknowledge Jay. Encore is a program of outstanding performances and compositions by students from the HSC music examinations. Selected for this exhibition was Dominic Zapier for his Viva Voce. Would you please congratulate the recipients of the Special Achievement Awards? The next two students to come forward were ranked across the state. Jared Zapier was ranked third in the state in the construction examination out of 2,174 candidates. And Marcus Bombardieri was ranked 19th in the state in an English Advanced out of 25,277 candidates. Congratulations to these two young men. The Premier's Award for All-Round Excellence. Each year, the Premier of New South Wales recognises a group of students for their all-round excellent performance in the HSC. The award is presented to students who attain a Band 6 in at least 10 units. This is a rare achievement in the life of any school. The Premier's Award for All-Round Excellence is presented to Marcus Bombardieri. Congratulations, Marcus. We now move on to the outstanding ATAR achievements. This year, 13 students from St Gregory's achieved an ATAR above 90. The following students are to be commended on their achievement. The first of those recipients is Angus Rochester. Angus received an ATAR of 90.05. He has deferred to travel this year, but will undertake a pattern of study in a Bachelor of Aeronautical Engineering at Sydney University in 2021. Lachlan Kennedy. Unfortunately, Lachlan is not here today because he's already commenced studies down at ADFA, where he's doing a Bachelor of Civil Engineering. Lachlan achieved an ATAR of 90.1. Matthew Mitchell, with an ATAR of 90.25. Matthew has opted to attend Wollongong University, where he will complete a pattern of study for a Bachelor of Psychology with honours. Jared McKell Dorset, 91.5 ATAR. Jared will be doing a double degree at the University of Technology in Sydney in a Bachelor of Sport and Exercise Science and Bachelor of Creative Intelligence and Innovation. Benjamin Cariotti. Ben received an ATAR of 91.7 and he will be doing a double degree at Wollongong University, Bachelor of Economics and Finance and Bachelor of Laws. Hayden Wolfe. Hayden received an ATAR of 92.0. As previously mentioned, Hayden received the Ramsay Scholarship at Wollongong University and will be doing a double degree in Bachelor of International Studies and Bachelor of Western Civilisation. Nicholas Alcorn, with an ATAR of 92.3. Nicholas is not entirely sure what he wants to study this coming year, but has opted to take a gap year, and what a wonderful experience it's going to be working on a farm in Canada. And heads off there in March, I believe. Alex Frey. Alex received an ATAR of 92.3. He'll be attending Sydney University to study a Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Advanced Studies. Ryan Woods, with an ATAR of 95.6. Ryan will be attending Sydney University to study a double degree in a Bachelor of Commerce and Advanced Studies. William Limbry will receive an ATAR of 95.75. He will be doing a double degree at Western Sydney University in Bachelor of Communication, Bachelor of Laws. Jai Bell with an ATAR of 95.8. Jai will be undertaking a double degree at the University of New South Wales, Bachelor of Economics and Bachelor of Commerce. Alessandro Coman with an ATAR of 98.15. Alessandro will be attending the University of New South Wales to undertake a Bachelor of Advanced Science and with honours. And Marcus Bombardieri. Marcus received an ATAR of 99.35. He will be doing a double degree at Sydney University, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Arts, in conjunction with the Dalyell Scholars Program. Would you please join me wholeheartedly in congratulating this group of young men. I'll just ask Marcus to stay stay up here, please. It is my wonderful honour. It's for most of you would be well aware of the fact that this young man was not. He was our college captain last year, and an amazing balanced approach to a HSC. I present to you our Ducks of 2019, Marcus Bombardieri. I now invite Marcus to step forward to the microphone.
Thanks, Mr. Neal. Thank you everybody here for coming today. Often with these sorts of things, as you go throughout the year, it's tough to maintain motivation. So to have this sort of a community behind you right the way through is really important. Now, the very first thing I want to mention today is the efforts of everybody in the Year 12 graduating class of 2019. While it is important that we commend the achievements of the boys sitting in the first few rows here at the Assembly, we as a community can't forget the silent achievers. We can't forget those boys who, while not scoring above 90 in a subject or as a university admission rank, demonstrated the tenacity and the love of work integral to the soul of St. Greg's. It is for this reason that we leave a spare seat at this Assembly, to symbolise all these boys who, while not being here, still achieved the best they could and achieve things that really will stand them in good stead for the future. Irrespective of any graduate's final result, our growth as people serves as the true achievement that underpins the numbers that you see before you today. Good morning, parents, friends, staff, students, and my fellow classmates. What drives you? What do you want to be? Who do you have standing beside you? Throughout high school, and especially entering the senior years, these are the questions that ran through my mind. At times, I really struggled to realise what I wanted out of 2019, and it took me some time to learn about opening up to the people around me. I believe the reason we invite our Duxers to come back and present a speech is often to shed some insight on our HSC years, and hopefully pass on what we've learned. Today, I want to pass on the importance of finding your purpose and opening up to support, as well as expressing how grateful I am to the people around me in helping me realise who I wanted to be. Now, it probably sounds a bit stupid when I say I struggled to realise what I wanted out of 2019. It would seem obvious, wouldn't it? A good ATAR, get involved in the co-curriculars, do a good job as school captain. And yet, forever loomed that question of an interminable future. Did I really want to do law? Should I go to Sydney Uni or UNSW at all? Have I left the impact that I wanted to? Rather than spending distinct time contemplating what I wanted, I'd simply run with what appeared obvious at the time. When I focused on those externally imposed goals, I found that study became much harder. I'd wander from the kitchen to the television to the room upstairs before repeating the cycle over and over again. And yet, when I lost focus on those external goals, I somehow felt so much more free. In those fleeting moments, I had a crystallized view of my purpose, one never consciously materialized in words for fear of snuffing it out. I had a genuine love of what I was doing, pursuing the argument, exposing the injustice, finding the deeper meaning of texts. These were the things that fueled me. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say that it makes doing 10 practice essays any more fun, but finding a distinct individual purpose for the year is so important, even if it isn't at all HSC oriented. If you want to travel overseas, or get out into the workforce, or just pursue a passion beyond that which school offers, dedicate yourself to that. What you get out of your year does not need to be school related, so long as you know that it's advancing your life in the direction that you want to take it. But if there's one thing that I can implore you to do, it's to spend serious time thinking about this. As I said at the end of last year, find your why. Let your why guide the way. However, I didn't find this purpose on my own. It was only by chewing off Dad's ear for hours on end and realising how much I enjoyed teaching Mum that no, Malcolm X is not an X-Man, that I found my purpose. Learning to tap into that support is something I'm still working on. I know at times I didn't reach out when I should have. I know that I wanted to bear it all on my own because I thought it would have been selfish to make anyone else deal with my anxieties or struggles. Before my legal studies HSC exam, my last exam of my set, I'd reached a point where the pressure had simply gotten too much. It took my girlfriend half an hour to calm me down on the phone. The slim margins for error that I had imposed on myself had just continued to nag and nag at me. Don't let it get to that point. It is still such an awkward thing to broach with anyone, even for me. And it's taken some committed and loyal people in my life to open that up. Just start the conversation though, with anyone. You'll be surprised at how ready people are to listen. Send a message, call, catch somebody between classes and just say something. Leaning on others only makes you stronger and allows you to lift up others in return. This was perhaps one of the most important lessons that I learned. And with that, I'd like to thank all those who offered their shoulders on which for me to cry and to stand. Firstly, my teachers deserve a little bit of a shout out here. Thank you to all the teachers that I had throughout high school. Each of you imparted a bit of wisdom for me to carry on into my later years. In particular, I'd like to thank all of my Year 12 teachers. Mrs. Gardner for her constant belief in me. Mrs. Miller for teaching me more than I ever really wanted to know about vampires. Mrs. Simmons for showing me the glory of maths. Her words, not mine. Mrs. Farias for some sick bants. Mr. Bullock for spending lessons talking about anything but legal. And of course, Mr. Team History himself, Mr. Gersbach. While I could write a litany for each of you about the myriad of ways you were there for me last year, each of you possessed the capacity to capture my imagination and the passion to inspire me. Further, I must also thank Mr. Newell and Mrs. Sawyer for their ability to continually set and raise the bar, and also thank Mr. Malasilia for the awesome homeroom environment he created. I must also thank my mates. Each day, coming and seeing you was enough to work me out of a slump. The support offered by your presence, smiles, and the perpetual banter carried me through the drudgery of the HSC grind. To my family and girlfriend, how could I even compose the words to do you justice? You each possessed this uncanny gift for sensing that something was wrong. Without you, I wouldn't be the same person. let alone have made it through the HSC. And for all you who remain here, still yet to get past that barrier of the HSC, I ask only this: pursue your purpose. Make mistakes and learn. Seek support from those around you. And remember, quae seminavaris metes, for as you find why you sow, so shall you reap. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. New and Marcus, and congratulations to all our high achievers from the class of 2019. Our next guest will congratulate our HSC high achievers on behalf of all the teachers and students. This guest speaker is ideally placed to respond on behalf of all students, being an ex-student of the school himself. He is also able to respond on behalf of all the teaching staff here, because he is also a current teacher who has recently been appointed to one of the 3 new academic coordinator positions. Please welcome Mr. Stephen Bullock to the stage.
Thank you, David, and good morning, staff, students, parents and old boys, Dad. This morning I have the pleasure of addressing the college to speak to you about the importance of academic pursuits and congratulate the young men in front of the room on their outstanding results during the 2019 HSC. Before I begin, I must admit, when I was asked to prepare something for this morning, my first question was to ask if I needed to speak before or after Marcus. So my worst nightmare has now been realised. Thanks for the stitch up, Mr. Bombardieri. Magnificent speech. We'll all miss them. During my years as a student here and the past 6 as a teacher, I've heard some incredible speeches in this room. Not as many as Mr. Hogan, however, who tells me the speech of the College Ducks of 1946 was one of his most memorable. But thank you, Marcus, for the honesty and the important message you gave. St Greg's has been recognised for several different things over its 94-year history. What began as a boys' reformatory and a farm for the training in agricultural pursuits, the first intake was just 7 boys in 1926. The numbers had risen to 24 by 1936, when Brother Antoninus turned it into an agricultural college. The college has been home to thousands of boarders since its inception, and boarding life continues today with over 100 of our boys. By the time I started in 1996, it was the end of the golden years of rugby league success. But even to this day, we are still, and deservedly so, recognised for the achievements on sporting fields, having over 70 NRL players pass through the college, boasting one of the most successful cricket teams in the state, and many numerous successes in other sports. But what we perhaps have overlooked at times, and something we would like to change in the future, is our core business, and that is teaching and learning. Occasions like this, recognising the academic achievements of many of our old boys, of which there are many, is one way we do this. But there are ways that every student in this hall can play their part in the academic success of this college. As part of my role on the Old Boys Committee, I'm fortunate enough to meet hundreds of old boys each year at reunions, OzTag days and various events. We have old boys in the communities doing amazing things. From the psychologist who visits my grandfather in a nursing home once a week to make sure he's doing okay. The skin care specialist saving lives, identifying melanomas early. The obstetricians bringing new life into the world, accountants, lawyers and teachers. We have old boys in the armed forces, police officers, firefighters, tradesmen and almost every career you can imagine. The men I speak to have a number of things in common, many of which you have heard on numerous occasions. They are hardworking, they are disciplined and they are passionate. But I'd like to highlight 2 that I think are important in achieving your own success going forward. Dr. Malloy touched on one being perseverance. I had never give up. I can tell you none of the men I speak to have had it all one way. They endured knockbacks and failures like we all do, but they kept trying. One old boy I spoke to failed his TAFE course 4 times. It was a plumbing course, then one day it clicked. He made some sacrifices in his life. He began to take advantage of the people who had been constantly offering their help to him. He found his purpose. On the 5th attempt, he completed his course. and now employs over 50 staff of his own, accepting huge contracts for shopping centres and apartment buildings. And the second one, which really hit home for me, is accepting responsibility that you are responsible for your own success. You, as students, are why I am here, why all the staff are here, to improve outcomes, to fulfil untapped potential, and to hopefully make a difference. It's something I'm incredibly passionate about, and you can be sure every teacher in front of you is also. But every young man at the front here took responsibility. They engaged with their teachers. They asked questions. They let them know if they didn't understand something. They also made sacrifices. That may have been a little less screen time, not worrying about extending the Snapchat streak when exam period was on, or missing a music festival to make an early start on an assessment task. Your teachers can't make those decisions for you. It really is up to you. You're in a very privileged position attending this college. In the time I left as a student to now, the classrooms have changed from blackboards and chalk to whiteboards and screens. Mr. Bingham no longer needs to run around the school with a gigantic overhead projector in one hand, flexing his enormous biceps. The buildings have been refurbished and new ones erected. We now have a hall that we can actually all fit into. The internet was still in the early phase of development on 56k dial-up speeds, so we borrowed books from the library instead of Googling. And phones were used for calling, texting, and playing Snake. You now have access to world-class facilities. The technology available at your fingertips is endless. The extracurricular program is probably second to none. You have teaching staff who go so far beyond and above their role descriptions every day for you because they care about you. They don't get paid extra when you do well, but they feel amazing when you do. And they also hurt when you don't. They are passionate and they believe in you. We know that every single one of you can achieve success. You are in the perfect environment to thrive, if you choose to. So whether you have 6 years or just 3 terms left at the college, start choosing yes. Yes to taking advantage of the opportunities you are handed on a plate here. Yes to putting in that extra 30 minutes of study instead of playing Fortnite. Yes to completing that maths homework yourself instead of copying your mates the next morning before class. We know there are distractions, more than there have ever been. In my time as a student, there was no Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok. We didn't tag friends, use hashtags, or post 60-second videos of ourselves. But these young men dealt with the distractions, knowing that their final marks that they were going to achieve were in their hands. They made positive choices, they completed homework, they stuck to their study timetables, and they bounced back when they failed. They also played sports, went on immersions, and were part of debating teams. They juggled leadership positions, and of course still found time to hang out with their mates. Gentlemen, there are no shortcuts to success. Our school motto tells us that. The young men at the front of the hall now get to reap what they have sown. On behalf of the college community, we wish you all the best in the future. We know you will go on to do incredible things. You are a credit to your school and your teachers, to your parents and your loved ones, and most importantly, yourselves. Congratulations on your results.
Thank you, Mr. Bullock. I now call forward our principal, Mr. McMaster, to deliver the principal's address. Please welcome Mr. McMaster.
I think we've been blessed today with outstanding speeches from both Dr. Malloy and Mr. Bullock, and I apologise if I say some of the same things today, but I think it's important that we all hear some of those key words repeated again. So Dr. Malloy, brothers, staff, parents, carers, students of St Greg's, and a very warm welcome to the young men in front of me here, our high achievers from 2019. Gentlemen, it is wonderful that we are able to invite you back to the college so we can congratulate you and affirm you on your outstanding achievements from last year's high school certificate. This is such an important day on the college calendar. It's important because we get to recognise, we get to affirm, we get to see, we see wonderful role models in front of us, and that sets us up for success for the year ahead. We also warmly welcome your family members, and I wish to acknowledge from the outset of this assembly their amazing contribution to you as a person, and to you in terms of the results that you've attained. And I know Marcus has said that in his own speech today about his own family, and to you in terms of everything that you've provided for these young men and will continue to provide in the years ahead. And we really do thank you for being part of this community and for supporting the young men here today. And I'd ask you as an audience to please congratulate our parents for the work that they've done. And I thank Dr. Malloy and Mr. Bullock for their quality addresses today and for their advice and reflections. And it's also great to have Dr. Malloy with us and join us here at St Greg's on this auspicious occasion, and I sincerely thank him for all the support he provides me personally, to the college and to Marist Education nationally, and thank you very much. Today, our Assembly has rightfully acknowledged and affirmed these high academic achievers. Our Band 6 recipients, our ATARs over 90, our special achievers. I congratulate these fine young men who are now St Greg's Old Boys. And I'd personally like to thank Marcus on being named the Dux of the college, an outstanding effort by him in getting an ATAR of 99.35. I also congratulate him on being 19th in the state out of 25,000 in English Advanced, and to his teachers who have taught him English over the 6 years, and especially in years 11 and 12. That is an outstanding achievement. I'd also like to congratulate him for being on the all-rounders list, which is absolutely fantastic as well. And to Jared for being third in the state for construction, which is another outstanding effort. Now, along with Marcus and Jared, I congratulate all of these boys, many of whom have joined us today to be part of a great celebration, and we're so proud of them for what they're doing. Today is our opportunity also, as you've heard, to continue to raise the academic bar at St Greg's, continue to grow the academic culture, and also to acknowledge that, you know, the young men who sit before us in front of them, these couple of rows in front of us here, are great role models for all of you, as has been noted. Now, Marcus noted in his address today, and rightfully so, and acknowledged the spare seat at the front, that there are many boys from last year's cohort who don't join us today. But we never forget their high achievements, their personal best. Because too, they put in huge achievements. They too are high achievers, and we should never forget the amount of hard work that they achieved also. And I know that a number of our graduating class of 2019 have been successful in gaining great traineeships, apprenticeships, work opportunities, and this is due to the excellent work ethic, their well-developed interview skills, and their strong resumes. And I thank the staff who have enabled that and worked with those young men to enable that to happen. I'd just like to share a little personal reflection with you at this point. It's a little bit about how I start my day. Each morning at about 7 a.m. or just after 7 a.m, I come up to the college from home and enter my office upstairs in the main admin block, as you would normally do. And I've established a little way of starting my day that I've had previous to come into this school, but certainly I've continued it since I've been here. And one of the first things that I do is, after I've turned on the lights and the air conditioner and, you know, got myself a little bit ready, I take a little bit of personal reflection time. And I have a prayer space set up in my office where I have the Bible and a prayer reflection book. And each day I go over and I read the gospel reading of the day. It takes me a couple of minutes just to read the gospel reading of the day. Now, I've been doing this for a long time now, and it's amazing the impact each day's gospel, short gospel reading, can have on your day. It's also amazing that on many days, the gospel reading links so beautifully with what's happening around me on that particular day or on the days on either side of the reading. Now, this week, on Wednesday morning, I carried out my ritual of reading the gospel reading of the day. Over the previous 24 to 48 hours, I've been really thinking about what did I want to say on Friday to the high achievers. The gospel reading on Wednesday morning was absolutely perfect. For the majority of people in this audience today, you will have heard on many occasions the parable of the sower. And on Wednesday, the parable was written within the Gospel of Mark. And if you just allow me to share a few lines from this Gospel to give the context. He taught them many things in parables, and in the course of his teaching he said to them, "Listen, imagine a sower going out to sow. Now it happened that as he sowed, some of the seed fell on the edge of the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some seed fell on rocky ground, where it found little soil, and at once sprang up, because there was no depth of earth. And when the sun came up, it was scorched, and not having any roots, it withered away. Some seed fell into thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it produced no crop. And some seeds fell into rich soil, grew tall and strong, and produced a good crop. The yield was 30, 60, even 100-fold. And he said, anyone who has ears for listening should listen." Now, as I read the Gospel on Wednesday morning, it struck me that we, you and I, we are the soil, the ground on which the seeds of God's message fall upon. Now, we know that God is kind and merciful and patient, and in his pursuit of love, he spreads the seeds of his good news even upon our hardened hearts at times when we have rejected him or been complacent to his call. But nevertheless, the Lord waits, knowing that through the grace of the Holy Spirit, even our hardened hearts can be fertile ground for his message, like a flower growing out of a footpath crack. God's love can seep its way into the tiniest of crevices. Now, it also struck me that the fine young men with us today have achieved excellence, academic excellence, in their 2019 HSC results and ATAR scores, have been very fertile soil, because they have allowed their minds to be stretched with new knowledge and understandings, combined with significant personal dedication, tenacity, perseverance, you hear that word again, and commitment, all of which has enabled them to grow, prosper, and succeed in their studies. Now, we should know there is no magic formula to academic success. And I know that we wish there was. There is no such thing as cheap success. If we want to succeed, we have to pay the price. And the road to success is long and it has many obstacles. And it's no wonder some students stop at one point or another after running into those obstacles, many of them giving up. And I think the message that you've heard today is never give up. Only the committed and the focused students have that perseverance and that persistence to keep moving forward. And these are the students who succeed. Now, you've heard that perseverance and persistence is essential. In fact, persistence is one of the most important characteristics of successful people. There is no other way to succeed but by developing persistence and perseverance in your life. Now, I think Marcus in his speech today made something very, very clear, and that's this. Another one of the reasons people give up early is because they have the wrong expectations. They expected the way to be easy, but really they're surprised when it's the opposite, and it's tough. Their enthusiasm quickly melts and they lose heart and inspiration. Now, we need to remember that failure is certainly on the path to success. Knowing how to handle it's critical. By knowing how to handle failure, you will be able to keep your persistence. On the other hand, not being able to handle it is going to drain your energy. So we've got to come up with the right tactics. We've got to surround ourselves with the right people, and it's been lovely today to hear that mentioned on many occasions. So today I want to conclude my address by thanking the college staff for the amazing work that they do and for their education of these fine young men in front of me, because they've educated from their heart. They've given everything they can to provide you with the opportunities to be the best that you can be, and I know that they will continue to do that for our current students here. Today I wish to personally thank all our staff for their love and dedication to their work as educators. You do an amazing job each and every day, and I'm very privileged to work with you. To our Year 12 high achieving students for 2019, I want you to go forth into the world with the knowledge that the community of St Gregory's is here always to support you, and we will continually pray for your success. Don't forget us, and make sure you come back regularly to visit us as old boys of the college. And we wish you every happiness and success in your future. And may God always bless you, keep you safe, happy and healthy, and may the spirit of St Marcel and Champagne constantly inspire you in all you do in life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McMaster. Our high achievers and their parents will now move to the Hermitage for morning tea. As they leave the ceremony behind the flags and official party, I ask that as a college we stand and sing the Subtuum.
Subtuum praesidium, confugimus, confugimus, Sancta Dei genitrix, Sancta Dei genitrix, nostras deprecationes, ne despicias, in necessitatibus nostris, sed a periculis contes, libera nos semper, Virgo gloriosa et benedicta. Subtuum praesidium, confugimus, confugimus, Sancta Dei genitrix, Sancta Dei